By the end of this video, you'll either keep repeating the same heartbreak or finally understand the one shift that changes who you attract. Let me ask you something straight, no sugarcoating. How many times have you found yourself lying in bed, staring at your ceiling, replaying the same moment over and over, wishing you could rewind time and do something differently? Be honest. Did you ever think maybe I'll never feel wanted again? Here's the thing, that fear you feel is not weakness, it's a signal. A blinking neon sign telling you that something needs to change. And today, in the next 10 minutes, we're going to start that change. Now, before you roll your eyes and say, oh, great, another motivational video that's going to make me feel better for 5 seconds. Hold on, this isn't that kind of pep talk. This is a reality check. Because heartbreak isn't just about crying or scrolling through old messages at 2 a.m. It's about how your patterns, your choices, and your beliefs are shaping the love life you have, not the one you want. Funny enough, most people are spending hours thinking about the one person who walked away instead of thinking about the one shift that could make the right person never want to leave. Imagine your life is a playlist. Right now, Heartbreak is on repeat. You know the song, every line, every lyric, every moment of pain. It's stuck like a bad remix that won't quit. But here's the twist, you have the power to hit skip. You can choose the next track. And I promise you, it's not just about getting over someone that's too small. It's about rebuilding yourself in a way that attracts a love that lasts, a love that makes heartbreak feel like a distant, faint memory. And yes, I know some of you are thinking, but I've tried everything and I still feel empty. Here's a humorous thought. If Heartbreak were a Netflix show, you'd probably be on season 5, crying during the finale, thinking, why am I still watching this? But the truth is, the series isn't over. And the plot twist? You're the main character and your story can change right now in a way you've never imagined. But here's the kicker, the part most people miss. The reason heartbreak feels permanent is because most people never see the hidden pattern that keeps them trapped. They blame the other person, they blame timing, they blame luck. But the reality, the thing holding you back is something far closer to home, something subtle, something you may not even realize is driving the same cycle of pain again and again. And in the next section, I'm going to show you exactly what that pattern is, why it keeps showing up, and more importantly, how to break it in a way that feels exciting, liberating, and yes, even a little scary. Because if you think heartbreak is intense, wait until you see what happens when you finally start attracting the love you deserve. Let's get honest for a second. You've been blaming the other person, the timing, or maybe even fate itself for the way things ended. But here's the brutal truth most people don't want to hear. Heartbreak isn't always about them. It's about a pattern you've been unknowingly repeating, a series of choices, habits, and even subtle signals that attract the exact type of love that leaves you empty. Now, before you get defensive, hear me out. I'm not saying it's your fault. Think of it more like a glitch in your love software. You see, every heartbreak leaves a tiny scar in your emotional code. And unless you consciously rewrite it, the next person you meet, even someone amazing, will trigger the same insecurities, the same fears, the same heartbreak. It's like walking into the same storm over and over, thinking this time it'll be sunny. Spoiler alert, the storm doesn't care about your optimism. Here's a pattern most people ignore, the chase. Yes, that irresistible thrill of the unavailable person, the one who makes you feel like you're always just a step behind. It's addictive, right? You tell yourself, if I just try harder, love will finally stick. But the truth is, this isn't love. It's emotional momentum. It feels intense, exciting, urgent, but it leaves you drained, questioning yourself, and more importantly, keeps you stuck in the same cycle. Pause for a moment. Picture your last heartbreak. Was there a point where you ignored your own boundaries? Where you justified behavior that should have set off alarm bells? That's not coincidence. That's pattern. And here's where it gets fascinating. The people you attract are not random, they are mirrors. They show you exactly where you're not fully honoring your worth, where you've given your power away, and where fear has been running the show. And now, a little humor to reset your attention. Because hey, healing doesn't have to feel like a root canal. Think about it. If Heartbreak were a movie, you'd probably be the person buying popcorn, crying during the sad parts, and yelling at the screen, "Don't do it!" Funny enough, in real life, you are that person yelling at yourself, wondering why the same story keeps repeating. Recognizing the pattern is just the first step. Awareness alone doesn't change your love life. It only sets the stage. The real magic happens when you decide to act differently, when you make one conscious shift that rewires the way you approach love forever. And this isn't some vague just love yourself advice you've heard 1,000 times. It's strategic, practical, and yes, a little uncomfortable, because growth rarely happens in your comfort zone. In the next section, I'm going to reveal exactly what that shift is, why it's the missing link between heartbreak and the love you truly deserve, and how you can implement it starting today, so that the next person you meet doesn't just like you, but can't imagine being without you. The question is, are you ready to face the one truth that could rewrite your entire love story? Now, let's focus on the one shift that can actually change the trajectory of your love life. The moment where heartbreak stops repeating and starts becoming a powerful lesson. Most people think the solution is finding someone new, distracting themselves, or just moving on. The truth is, this shift doesn't start with someone else. It starts with how you show up, how you respond, and how you value yourself in the spaces where love actually happens. Here's the key. The most magnetic people aren't perfect, they're aware. They know their worth and don't settle for less, even when the excitement of a new connection tempts them to compromise. And here's the exciting part. Once you embrace this mindset, something almost magical happens. People who previously passed you by, who didn't see your value, suddenly notice. They're drawn not just to your personality, but to the way you carry yourself, the boundaries you enforce, and the energy you radiate. Think about it. How often have you stayed with someone because you were scared of being alone, because you worried love might never come again? Or maybe you convinced yourself that love had to feel like a roller coaster of drama to be real. Sound familiar? That's fear running the show, as long as fear is in the driver's seat. Heartbreak will always be waiting around the corner the moment you make a conscious choice to act from confidence, clarity, and self-respect. The pattern shifts. Suddenly, heartbreak is no longer inevitable. You start attracting someone who's capable of consistency, loyalty, and real emotional investment. Here's a humorous thought to reset your attention. Imagine your love life as a restaurant. For years, you've been ordering the same dish, burned, bland, unsatisfying, then wondering why you never felt full. This shift I'm talking about. It's you walking into the kitchen, taking the spatula yourself, and cooking a menu that actually satisfies your heart. Yes, it takes courage, but the reward is a love life that finally nourishes instead of draining you. The subtle part most people overlook is that this shift doesn't mean becoming rigid or controlling. It's not about creating walls or pushing people away. It's about tuning your radar to recognize what truly serves you and saying no to anything that doesn't. This creates an energy that's irresistible, not manipulative, but magnetic. People feel it, even if they can't quite explain why they're drawn to you. What you choose to do with this insight will determine whether you continue repeating the same heartbreak or finally start attracting the love you deserve. Transformation happens through action, not just awareness. Every choice, every boundary you set, every moment you act from self-respect builds the foundation for the love you've been waiting for. Now that you understand the shift, the next step is translating it into action. Because here's the thing, awareness alone won't change your love life. You can know the patterns, feel the pain, and imagine the love you want, but unless you actively step into new behaviors, you're still running on autopilot, and heartbreak will keep showing up. Start with your boundaries. This isn't about being rigid or unapproachable. It's about clarity. What behaviors, words, or actions are non-negotiable for you? What signals tell you someone is willing to meet you at your level or not? Write them down, say them out loud, and observe how you react when someone crosses them. The people who respect these boundaries will rise to the occasion. The ones who don't, they reveal themselves quickly, saving you months of confusion and emotional energy. Next, pay attention to your attraction patterns. Notice the type of person you tend to fall for. Are they emotionally unavailable, dramatic, inconsistent? I know it's tempting to rationalize these choices, telling yourself, they'll change, I can handle it. But the reality is the universe isn't punishing you. It's reflecting back what you've been signaling to it through your actions and tolerance. By consciously choosing differently, by stopping the chase and investing in someone who meets your standards, you shift the type of love that finds you. Here's something funny to reset your attention. Imagine your love life as a job interview. You keep applying to roles you're overqualified for, only to wonder why the companies keep offering you unpaid internships. When you finally start applying to positions that match your skills, experience, and value, You don't just get hired, you get celebrated. Love works the same way. You start showing up differently. And suddenly, the right people appear in ways that feel effortless. Another step is emotional responsibility. Stop outsourcing your happiness to someone else. Waiting for validation, love, or attention from a person who doesn't prioritize you is like trying to charge your phone with someone else's battery. It's inefficient and unsustainable. The more you cultivate your own joy, confidence, and sense of worth, the more magnetic you become. And ironically, this makes people want to invest in you rather than take from you. Finally, practice deliberate reflection. After every interaction, every date, or every emotional moment, ask yourself, did this feel aligned with my worth? Did it honor the love I want? Over time, these reflections train your mind to notice patterns, avoid old mistakes, and make decisions that accelerate your growth rather than prolong heartbreak. When you combine boundaries, awareness of attraction patterns, emotional responsibility, and reflection, you start creating a love life that's intentional, fulfilling, and profoundly different from anything you've experienced before. What used to feel like heartbreak now becomes clarity. Pain transforms into lessons. And every choice you make reinforces a cycle that attracts love that's consistent, aligned, and nourishing. Now, imagine this. You've implemented these steps. You've set your boundaries, taken responsibility for your emotions, noticed your patterns, and reflected on every choice. The person you attract next isn't someone who leaves you guessing or doubting your worth. They are someone who matches your energy, values your time, and cherishes your presence. And here's the exhilarating part. This isn't a fantasy. It's the direct result of the shift you've chosen to make. You might be thinking, but what if it doesn't work? What if I fail again? And that's natural. Fear is part of the process, but fear is no longer your enemy. It's a compass pointing you toward the areas where you need growth, courage, and clarity. Every time you feel that anxiety, that familiar sting of heartbreak creeping back, remind yourself, this is different. You're acting consciously now. You're rewriting the rules, not reacting to old scripts. Let's talk about urgency for a moment, because it's easy to slip back into old habits. Every day you wait to implement these steps, it's another day you risk attracting the same heartbreak. Time isn't on repeat for anyone, and love won't wait around for indecision. By choosing to act now, to embody your worth, and to cultivate the energy that attracts the love you deserve, you accelerate your journey from heartbreak to healing in a way that feels exhilarating and empowering. Here's a thought to reset your focus. Think about heartbreak like a movie villain. You spent years letting it control the plot. But now you're stepping into the role of the hero. You're the one who writes the ending, who decides how the story unfolds, and who finally gets to experience love that doesn't leave scars but builds strength. And just like any great hero, there's a moment of hesitation, a tiny fear that says, am I ready? The difference this time is you are ready. You've learned, you've grown, and you're stepping into a version of yourself that others can't help but notice, admire, and want to be around. The truth is, healing isn't a destination. It's a process, a daily practice of showing up for yourself, making choices that honor your worth, and refusing to settle for anything less than what you deserve. Every step forward, no matter how small, compounds over time, creating momentum that transforms not just your love life, but your entire sense of self. And when you look back months from now, you'll see the difference. You won't just recognize the love that finally found you. You'll recognize the person you became in the process. Stronger, wiser, more magnetic, and fully aligned with the life and love you've always wanted. So take this moment, commit to it. The next time someone enters your life, they won't just meet you, they'll meet the most confident, self-aware, and irresistible version of yourself. And that, my friend, is where heartbreak ends and a new thrilling chapter begins.